Welcome everybody. Welcome to a new webinar by WeTransform. Today we're going to explain you how you can create and automate your transformation workflows with hale Connect. My name is Christopher Hunn. I'm the Business Development Manager at WeTransform and I will be your host. And with me there's Kate Lindegaard. Kate is the Product Manager at WeTransform. So for this webinar, I would like to ask you to mute yourself. If you have any questions, please send them by the chat function or just interrupt and open your microphone. However, if your question can wait a little bit, there will also be a Q&A session at the end. Please also note that this session will be recorded and used for communication and training purposes. So now looking at the agenda and the objectives for today, the main question is, why do we need this webinar? So it's pretty simple. We have been asked many times to explain hale Connect, what it can do for you and how to use it effectively. And so we started to create a series of 3 webinars on hale Connect. On July 15, we gave a general introduction into data management with hale Connect. On September 3rd, we had the second session and we explained how to configure metadata. And today is the last of the 3 sessions. And we will focus on the workflow and the benefits of automation. Now, in the opening section, I will briefly talk about the team and the company WeTransform, who we are and what we do for you, and also give you a first idea about hale Connect. Then Kate will talk about the workflow, how it can be created, and the many steps that can be automated. After that, she will demonstrate the usage of hale Connect and do the live demo. And finally, there will be the Q&A session. Now, who are we and for whom do we work? The company WeTransform was founded pretty much 5 years ago. It's based in Darmstadt in Germany. And we have today more than 80 customers in, I would think, 20 or 25 countries and more than 4,000 users. Data management services is the core of our business model. And we also maintain the open source software. It's called Hale Studio, which is for data transformation. And also the platform, it's called hale Connect, which is our integrated solution for Inspire and other data infrastructures, which is what we're talking about today. So our mission is to make open standards work. So we help our clients to improve the design and the implementation of standards. We help them build effective data infrastructures with our next generation of data transformation tools like Hale Studio, but also with our profound expertise in Inspire and also many other extension and data standards. Now, talking about hale Connect in a few words, our vision when we started was not just to provide the core functionality, but a whole platform that automates the process from end to end. That includes update of data and metadata, monitoring the quality of service requirements for Inspire, but also some more operations-related aspects like failover, recovery from incidents, and many other aspects. And also we learned that data harmonization requires a lot of effort. So we try to make it as easy as possible. Specifically also the app schema creation aspect that can become very time consuming in many cases. Also users can share and collaborate better, and they can learn from others how they have solved the problems already. Modeling, metadata, profiles, national extensions, and so on. There's a lot of more possibilities, but that may not be the core of your interest today. Now, what's also important is that you really get full control of what you're doing and of the data. First of all, there's no lock-in into an application or deployment method. So all of your data can easily be transferred anytime because we only use open APIs. So you can switch from our application to any other application that deals with that APIs and the data. Also, security for your data and your assets is critical to us. Yearly security audits and pen tests will be done regularly. If needed, you can also access the source code of Hale Connect and verify it, and beyond that, you can also edit it. So finally, there's no log into an application or deployment method because all data can easily be transferred and because of the use of open APIs. All right. Now, having said this, there's a few misperceptions I want to talk about. You may know or not, but Hale Connect not only works as a software as a service from a cloud or solution, but can also be easily installed on premise. It's also available in many different languages, not only in English or in German, but you can also go for like your own language, be it Turkish, Croatian, or whatever. It takes just one day to adapt it to that. We also learned from some people that Hale Connect is too complex for users to learn. Of course, you can be an expert, but that's not the case most often. That's not quite true. If you set up the workflows in a very effective way, and we certainly help you with that, then this is really what allows you to create full automation from file upload to publication. So this is what it really makes it easiest to use. And finally, it may be too expensive. Well, that's a relative point of view. I can also only tell you Hale Connect is used by many municipalities, and they don't have any money and any resources, and we help them with a lot of aspects, and they get the full functionality. And so I would imagine that this is also priced for your pocket money if needed. And that's, I think, what I would like to ask you to look into at one point. But now, before we get started with the demo itself, Kate will talk about the resources needed and how the workflow can be automated. Kate, please. So this is yours, and I guess I have to hand over the control to you. Just a second.
Great. Thanks, Chris. Okay. See. All right. So here. All right. It looks like you should be able to see my screen.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, great. And hi, everybody. Welcome again to today's webinar. My name is Kate Lindegaard, and as Chris mentioned, I work here in product development at WeTransform. So I also work publishing a lot of customers' data, and I use automated transformation workflows quite a lot on Hale Connect, and that's what I'm hoping to show you today. First, I'd like to explain the workflow a little bit, why you might need it, and then how you can set it up yourself on Hale Connect. If you've attended one of our previous webinars, you might be familiar with some of the core resources on Hale Connect. The automated online workflow I'm going to show you today uses all of these resources in an interconnected way to transform source data to Inspire GML automatically. And that's really quite powerful. If you can imagine that you have source data that is in a shapefile format or comes from a database, and if that source data experiences regular updates, and you want your Inspire dataset to always reflect your most current data, then it's really powerful to be able to automatically upload your source data and have that source data trigger a workflow that updates your transformed Inspire GML automatically. So ideally, we set up this workflow one time and reuse it. So although it may seem like some amount of configuration, hopefully you only have to do it one time and that you'll be able to reuse it over and over again. So some of the resources that we need to create on Hale Connect in order to configure this are displayed here in the slide. So first we need a transformation project. So this doesn't happen completely on its own. You do have to begin configuring the workflow with a completed transformation project. That will typically come from Hale Studio. So the first thing you have to do is create a transformation project in Hale Studio, and you can actually export your transformation project directly from Hale Studio onto Hale Connect, the online platform. I'll show you that in the live demo. You also need some schemas. So schemas can be created using your source data, and then you will also create a target schema that tells Hale Connect what type of data you want to, what type of data your transformed data will be. And finally, you need a few themes. You need a source theme and a target theme. So your source theme tells Hale Connect how you'd like to publish your source data. You may not want to, but it's possible. And your target theme tells Hale Connect how you want to publish your transformed data. That may take a little configuration. We'll look at that as well. And finally, you need to create a data set. So that simply means uploading your source data. And once this workflow is configured, the automated transformation workflow will run automatically. That means you will upload your source data set. A transformation project will be triggered and executed, and the output or result of that transformation project, which is Inspired GML, will be automatically published. So that's sort of the purpose of the workflow, and that's what I hope to show you as well in a live demo. So let's just go over those steps. This is really what it takes. First step is your transformation project, and we'll export that directly onto Hale Connect. Then we'll create a source schema and a source theme in order to handle our source data and make sure that when we upload it, it's valid. Finally, we need a target schema and a target theme. This tells Hale Connect what it is, what schema our target data should validate against. The Hale Connect will validate the output of the transformation project, make sure that it's valid Inspired GML. And then finally, we'll upload our source data set. Uploading the source data will trigger the execution, trigger the publishing, and automatically produce our target data set. So we don't actually have to do anything on the last step. The target data set will be created as an outcome of this process. All right, so now I'd like to go over the actual steps so that if you'd like to try this yourselves, you can really have success with this if you follow these simple steps, because it should be this simple. So step one is to open up your Hale Studio desktop software and export your transformation project directly to Hale Connect. So of course, you also have the option to manually upload it, but we recommend exporting it directly to the platform. So when you're within Hale Studio, you can click on the File menu, you can log into Hale Connect, and then share your project. There's also an option to add a custom export option to reproject your data. So when that automated process is running, if you need your target data to be exported in a different CRS than its source CRS, you can add an export option to control the CRS of your exported Inspired GML. So that's also an option. If you were working in Hale Studio, you could choose this as an export option if you were just exporting the transformed data. When you're running this automatically, you may need to provide that option in the configuration. Okay, and then once we export our transformation project and we have that live on Hale Connect, then the next step would be to create a source schema. So although your transformation project, of course, contains your source and target schema, we need to create these resources on Hale Connect so that Hale Connect knows how to publish them. So first, we'll create a new schema. So it really depends how you create a schema. It depends on what source what format your source data is in. If it's a shapefile, if it's XML based, and you'd like to use an XSD directly. So let's assume we're using a shapefile. Then we can simply upload our shapefile, and Hale Connect will automatically extract the source schema. I'll show you that as well in a moment. And next, we configure our source theme in Hale Connect. So there is a toggle switch in schema creation that allows you to create this resource automatically. I'll show you that in the demo. So we'll create our source theme automatically. Once it's created, we can go and configure it. So you may not want to publish your source data if it's a shapefile or a CSV file, or you may not want to publish it. So we do have an option to disable service publishing for your source data if that's not part of your use case. But what you do have to configure on the source theme, which is very important, is you have to tell Hale Connect which transformation project you want to use to transform that source data. So to do that, we have to add a transformation configuration. So on your source theme, you need to add which transformation project you'll be using to transform that data, that source data. And you can also, on the source theme, configure when you'd like the transformation to run. So you have a few options. You can have the transformation executed immediately as soon as a new source data is uploaded. You can choose to do it manually yourself whenever you want to, or you can set a schedule. For instance, you'd like the transformation to be rerun daily or monthly, whatever you like. So I'm going to take a break from the slides right now, and I'm going to show you the first 3 steps before I move on to the final, to the final 4 steps. So just so that you don't get lost in some of these steps here, I'll just start by going over exporting my transformation project and creating my source theme, and then also creating my source theme and configuring it. All right, so I'll just first of all pull up my Hale Studio. All right, so now I'm in Hale Studio. This is my transformation project. It is a rivers data transformation. So this is River Basin District data. The source data is a shapefile, and the shapefile has been transformed to the Inspire feature type management restriction or regulation zone. That's coming from the area management theme in Inspire. So this is a complete and valid Inspire transformation project. And now I'm going to export it directly from Hale Studio desktop software onto Hale Connect. So to do that, I'll just click on File, and then I'll click on Export, and then I'm going to click on Hale Connect Project. Now this also assumes you have a Hale Connect account, so you should be registered on Hale Connect in order to export a project to Hale Connect. So there I have my description. Now I'm going to log in. So it says I'm not logged in. I have to log in. I will get my password. Okay. I'm logging into my Hale Connect account. Okay. Okay, I'm successfully logged in. And now what I'd like to do is I'd like to export this project. So I can either choose to create a new project on Hale Connect. You can use that option if you've never, if you haven't put this project on Hale Connect before, or you can update an existing project. So maybe you're iteratively working on a project and you want to update it. You've already published it on Hale Connect, but now you've made updates and you want to update it. You can also do that. Then you can choose who should own the uploaded project, yourself, meaning your personal user profile, or your organization. So in my case, I'll say my organization is the owner, and I am exporting it to my organization, which is Hale Connect Inspire. No, it's Online Transformation Webinar. That's my organization for this webinar, so you'll have your own organization, and then I'll click Finish. This should just take a moment. Okay, and there it says project upload successful. Your project was uploaded to Hale Connect. Okay, it says I can visit this link, so I'll click on this link. Click OK. And now I will show you this transformation project published on the Hale Connect system. So here I have to log in as it's password protected. And then my transformation project, the River Basin District, will be able to see it here published on Hale Connect. And so once your transformation project is published, then that means we can use it in an online workflow. So a nice feature of the Hale Connect transformation project section is that you can look at the mapping or the alignment in a very nice visual way here. So as you can see, all of the mappings, every single mapping function applied is displayed here. So you can see I have a River Basin District, which has a retype function applied. It's becoming a management restriction zone feature type. And you can see the contents of the entire transformation here in a very user-friendly way. You can also add comments and descriptions to it if you're working on this with it in a team. Okay, so now I have my transformation project. The next step I have to do is to create my source schema. So why do I need to do that? Well, Hale Connect needs to know what type of data your source data is, and it needs the schema in order to validate the data. So it needs to have a set of rules that it can use to validate the data that you're uploading. If your data is not valid to the source schema you identify, you cannot publish your data. So you'll receive some error messages about things you have to fix in your data in order for this to work. So let's go ahead now and create our source schema. So I'm going to now click, now I'm in the transformation project section. I'm going to click on schemas. And now I'm going to click on create new schema. Okay. Now, because my source data in my project is a shapefile, I'm going to click the first option. I'm going to choose to create a new schema by uploading a schema file. So here you can upload an XSD, a schema definition file, or you can, if you're working with a shapefile, you just upload the shapefile and Hale Connect will extract the schema from the shapefile. So I'll click continue. Then I'll choose my shapefile. And it's really important that you upload your files, all of your files. Shapefiles usually contain more than one file. Okay. All right, so that looks good. I'll click continue. I'll give it a name. I will call it Source River Basin Districts webinar. Okay, that's the name of my schema. I'll click continue. Here we have an important setting. So your theme also, by definition, has to contain schema information about what schema it's based on. It has feature type information attached. So here we can toggle the switch to create a theme. And this will automatically create a theme for us. I'll click create. And you can see automatically now I've been brought to the theme section when I've enabled that toggle to create a new theme. Check my feature types in the theme. And there I have the feature type that is derived from my schema. On the theme, you can also configure metadata. So again, this is the source theme. So this is not the Inspire metadata that, or it could be if it's as is data, but this is the metadata for your source data set. And your view services. Here you can configure your view services and your download services for your source data sets. But the most important section in the source theme for this workflow is the transformation section. Here we need to tell Hale Connect what transformation project we want to use to transform the source data. So I'm going to click on Add New Transformation Configuration. Then I'm going to select the project I'm working with. That was the Inspire River Basin District. So I will select, yes, I will select my River Basin District project, my transformation project. So that is now a link to the transformation project I just uploaded. And then we need to select the target theme. We have not set the target theme yet, so let me pause right here, and I will go back to the slides and talk to you about the rest of the steps required, setting up the resources for our target resources. All right. So the next step after we configure the source theme, as you can see, we added a project. Now we need to add also a link to our target theme. So the next step actually would be to create the target schema in Hale Connect. So similar to how we need to tell Hale Connect the source data we'll be using, we also need to tell it what type of target data we're going to be publishing. So in this case, we're working with Inspire. So we have to create the target schema using an Inspire schema. Luckily, Hale Connect comes with all of the Inspire code, or all of the Inspire schemas preloaded. So that's another option for schema creation. I'll show you in a minute how you can easily create an Inspire schema using one of the preset options. Again, we'll enable the toggle to create a theme based on our schema. And then we'll configure our target theme in Hale Connect. So when you're publishing Inspire data, you may have to pay more attention to your metadata. Here you can configure your Inspire metadata, and you configure how you want to publish your data. So you can configure your view services and your download services. So for download services, you can choose, for example, if you want a WFS or an Atom feed or both, which CRSs you'd like them served in, etc. There's several options we can go over there also in a moment when I show you how that works. And once you have your target schema and target theme set up, then what you do is you upload your source data. So you simply create a new data set on Hale Connect, and that process will use all of the resources we've just created. So you basically upload your source data, select your source theme, and then choose what it is you want to do. Do you want to execute the transformation, publish your services? There's a series of options you can choose. And finally, after your transformation project runs, and after your target data set is created and published, and the view services and the download services are published, you can view your transformed data set on Hale Connect. And that is what I would like to show you now. So let me just go back to Hale Connect. All right, so we'll leave this for a moment. We need to first create our target schema and target theme, and then we'll come back and add this configuration completely. All right, so now I need to create the target scheme. So I'll go to schemas again, and I'll click on create a new schema. So now I know my transformation project is using the Inspire theme area management. So that's what I need to create. So in this step, I'm going to select the option to select a preset Inspire schema. And I'll click continue. And I'll type in area management. And I'll choose 4.0. Click continue. All right, I'll name this webinar. That could be online. Inspire. Okay, I'll click continue. And now I'm going to create a theme. Now I'm creating my target theme. That's going to be an Inspire type. I'm going to click Create. All right, and now I have my target theme. All right, so now what I have to do is I have to go back to my source theme and connect this target theme in the transformation configuration. So I will search for the source theme that I just created. My source theme was Source River Basin Districts. All right, now I'm going to go to the transformation section. I'm going to add the transformation configuration completely. So I'll select my project again, this one. I will select my target theme, that is the Inspire theme that I just created. And I'll click Add Configuration. All right, so now my source theme has the information that when I use this theme and upload my source data, it should use this transformation, and it should use the configuration settings in the target theme to publish the output of the transformation. I'll show you quickly the automation section, because here you can set rules for when you want your transformation to be executed. You can choose manual, that means you do it yourself and trigger it manually. Immediately, that means every time you upload source data or new data, it will be transformed automatically. Or you can choose later, and you can set a time schedule for when you'd like the transformation and the republishing to take place. So I'll just select immediately. Okay, now I'm going to quickly go to my target theme, because when you're publishing Inspire data, there's a lot to be aware of, and there are a lot of configuration options you can choose. So in our target theme, we have a feature type section. Here we'll see the Inspire feature type that we're working with. A lot of Inspire schemas have many more feature types, but here we have area management. Here you can fill in your metadata. So we had a webinar on this topic recently, a week or two ago, because yes, configuring metadata using the JSON editor takes a little bit of background to get going with that, but it is fairly straightforward. So I won't go over that again now, but in the theme here you can configure metadata rules that allow you to basically auto-generate your metadata for both your data set and for your services, view and download. Another important configuration section in the theme is your view services. So here we see we're going to be publishing a WMS. We want to publish it in the EPSG in the CRS 25832. You could choose additional ones if you want. Get feature info, I'm going to activate that. That allows you to query the WMS, meaning when you click on a feature in the map view, you'll see a pop-up with the attributes, some attribute information. We do have a pretty extensive Inspire SLD library. So if your data is Inspired data, it'll be automatically published with an Inspire compliant SLD. But if it's a different kind of data and or maybe you have your own symbology you want to use, you can upload an SLD file here so that your own symbology will be used to publish the WMS. And then in download services, here you'll have predefined data set. That means an Atom feed will be published. I'll also select WFS. So here now, for my download services, I'll be publishing an Atom feed as well as a WFS. The format section explains that in your Atom feed, you will have the data available for download as shapefile and also GML. You can choose one or both. And then again, you have the spatial reference systems available. All right. So that's that. And the next step then, so now I've configured my source theme to use the transformation project. I've configured my target theme, told hale connect how I want to publish my Inspire data. Now what I need to do is upload my source shapefile. and then publish this. So I hope to show you this now. So I'm going to click now on data. All right, I'm going to click on create new data set. All right, now I will select my source theme, and it is, yeah, Source River Basin Districts webinar. Okay, then I'll click continue. Now I'm going to upload my shapefile. Same shapefile that I used to create my schema, my source schema. Okay. And right now, Hale Connect is using that source schema to validate my shapefile and make sure that it is valid against that schema we provided. Should just take a moment. And you know your file has been validated when the tile turns green. If there's some kind of warning, it will turn orange. And if it's invalid, it will turn red. If your tile turns red, you won't be able to publish. And chances are your transformation won't execute. So you have to make sure that your source data validates. All right, that looks like it's completed and valid. So I'm going to click continue. Okay, now I can set the dataset name. Because we have a theme configuration to do so, it's been automatically populated with this name. I will name it, yes, Source River Basin Districts webinar. Okay, I click continue. This is the metadata step. And I see a red badge in the general section. That means I need to provide some metadata. You should do this, otherwise, again, you'll hit publishing issues. You won't be able to publish. So it's a good idea to fill in these immediately in this step so that your metadata is valid. So here we're missing the Inspires theme. So let's tell it what. So it's River Basin District and Area Management. So that's the Inspire theme we're using. Okay, and that's environment, I believe. It's the thematic classification. Environment, okay. And then I'll add a data lineage also required. Okay, that was, digitalization, okay, 2020. Okay, now I have all green check marks, so now I can move on. And again, you could set up your theme so that all of these items are filled in automatically. I'll click continue. Now I see some of the project variables. These are extracted from my transformation project. You may or may not have these in your project. That's fine. I'll click continue. Now you see I have a series of options here. So now I have to choose what I want to do with my source data. I have the option to create download services for my source data, view services for my source data. I can execute the transformation project, and I can create the view and download services for my inspired GML. I'm not really interested in publishing my shapefile because I don't need to, let's say. So I'm going to shut those off because, yeah, all I'm interested in is publishing my inspired data. So what I'm going to do is execute the transformation project and then publish my inspired data as view and download services. And all of the metadata as well. All right. So this will now trigger the workflow that we just set up. So ideally, if you're a system admin, you configure this workflow, and then your users just have to do what I did there and upload some data, and then be able to create inspired GML. So right now, Hale Connect has it has read my shapefile, and right now it is executing the transformation project, Inspire River Basin Districts. It's running it right now. We can take a look at that in the transform data section of my data set. Now I'm in the source data set, but here there's a transformation section called transform data. So look here, wow, it already ran. So my transformation was successful. Here it gives you actually even a log. If you want to see from Hale Connect, or sorry, Hale Studio, how the transformation ran, what is the information related to that. Now I can click navigate to my target data set here, which is my Inspire GML. So I'll click on this. Now this is my Inspire GML. Let's look at it. Look at the file. So it's no longer a shapefile. It has been transformed to Inspire GML. This is for features in the management restriction or regulation zone. Take a look at this. I might still be publishing. No, here it is. This is Inspire GML. So this is the output of the transformation project. And here you see it. It's no longer a shapefile. It's been transformed. It's published. And now what's happening is that Hale Connect is creating the view and network download services for this Inspire GML. So right now it's gathering the theme settings, and it's going to publish what we told it to do in the source, or sorry, in the target theme. Hopefully this will just take a moment, and then we can take a look at the view or the download services. I'm going to take a look at my dataset metadata. And here we have it. Okay, it just took a moment. Oh, that is my, oh, that's my, is that here? Let's see. Okay, my get capabilities. Here we have it now. So this is the get capabilities, version 1.3. All right. Try our download services. Okay, so here we have our WFS. Take a look at that. Here's our WFS get capabilities. And then we have our metadata. So for instance, once again, we have our dataset metadata here. There we can see it's the MD metadata. That's our metadata set for the data set that we published. We have the metadata for our Atom feed that we published. And we have the metadata for the download service that we published. There you have it. So you have always one set of metadata for the data set and one set of metadata for every service you publish. And here we have the capabilities for the Atom feed and the WFS. Let me try one more time to see if that map view is working. There we go. Oh, the data is flipped. Okay. All right. I'll have to republish that service setting. So if for some reason your coordinates are flipped, you always have the option to change that in your service settings and refresh your services for them to appear in the right place. But Chris, maybe with that, I'll hand it back to you. The map view is a little bit slow today.
Okay.
But I hope we got the gist of it.
Okay. No, it's great, Kate, for all the explanations. And I'm just trying to show the slides then. So that's the presentation, if I'm not mistaken. No, that's the wrong one. Let's see if I can get the right one. This is the presentation mode. Yeah, I think what we've seen is really how you can create all the setup for the various steps. And the key really is about automation. Kate, do you want to comment quickly on the automation benefits?
Sure.
I think that's really
Sorry,
the summary
this
of
slide.
No problem. That's really the summary of all of the work that you've done now.
Yes. Yeah. Sorry, I forgot the slide. Yeah, I think Yeah, the benefit of setting up an online transformation project is that you don't have to do these steps manually every time you have new data. So a lot of people implementing Inspire, they have different requirements. They may have to update their data once a year, but it could also be daily. There are many different use cases. So this type of workflow can really help people who have data that experiences regular updates, or even those who have to do it at some point over and over again, because it really means that you don't have to do all of that manual work. I mean, if you did this manually, you would have to open Hale Studio, upload your source data, transform it, export the file, upload it somewhere, publish it. I mean, there's a lot of work involved just to update your data set and make sure that that your inspired data is always current. So setting up an automation like this can help you do that quite easily. Yeah, so it's really for people whose data is frequently updated, can be transformed automatically, republished automatically. All of your metadata sets as well will be updated automatically. If you at the same time need to change something in your metadata, you can also do that, you know, and change that and automatically republish that. Yeah, you also have your user-defined automation setting, so you can choose when you want these things to run. And you know that once you have this configuration set up, you can reuse it. So hopefully you certainly don't have to do what I showed you today that often. It's thought of as a one-time setup, and then you or other people in your org can reuse it. That's the idea. So yeah, I think it's one of the most powerful things that can be done on the platform today.
Okay, thanks for pointing this out, Kate. And just to give you a brief overview of the resources, you don't have to put that down in writing, but if you want to, you can also get the presentation file with the slides after the webinar. Just let us know. So you can see links for the product description, pricing, help documentation, support forum. The webinar recording will be available upon request. Also there's training that we provide, professional support, and of course you can always call us. All right. Yeah, and having said this, I would jump right into your question and answers. If I'm not completely mistaken, Hert, so you had one or two additional questions, which I would like you to ask now, if that's possible.
Okay, thank you. It was a very nice presentation. I did follow the whole workflow. It went very nice. That's why I asked, can I get the presentation in order to provide it to people who do this work for me?
Yes.
So thank you.
Yes, you can get the presentation.
Yes. Then I saw that you were generating in the service. You could give on which kind of data you are delivering with the VFS. And because I've in another online webinar, I heard that you are delivering geo packages. So I was wondering that we could export the geo packages in some time. I think that was the question for Kate.
Yes, I think that's a future goal. Right now, you can export a geo package from Hale Studio. So if you're in Hale Studio, we now have the geo package reader and writer. But currently, when you're publishing your services, you're publishing then for download service just the WFS as a WFS feature collection.
Yes.
We don't have the geo package yet enabled on Hale Connect.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Okay, nice.
Of course,
Thank
that's a goal. Definitely.
Thank you. I understand that. Then I had another question. That is, now we're on the end of the publishing these services. Then we want to know if these services are valid, and of course they are, but we have to check it for ourselves as well.
Yes.
Are you planning a webinar on doing that?
Well, I think we're going one step beyond that, because what we're planning and in the product development side is to actually embed the ETF Inspire Validator in Hale Connect. So that instead of you having to leave the platform and go to the Inspire validator and take your services and your metadata and go validate it there, that you will be able to use the Inspire validator within Hale Connect. That is not yet operational, but steps have been made in that direction. Although, yeah, we've had some we've encountered some difficulties that are beyond our control in terms of integrating it. So that's still a work in progress.
Okay, but
we want to actually have it in the platform.
Oh, that would be nice, but for now we won't have it.
That's true. That's true.
So
I could do a webinar where we go over that, though. That's a good idea.
Thank you.
Yep, that's excellent. Thanks for asking, also. Are there any other questions from the other participants? And please.
Thanks for the explanations, and was everything pretty clear for me. And my question is a bit off topic, I think, but the only gap I have now is how do I set up a transformation project? Perhaps half automated, or the presets or something, or do I need to do that all manually to transform one element to the other one in Inspire, or is there some help by that?
Yeah, you still have to come to this process that I demoed today with a completed transformation project. So of course we have the support team. So we have a group here that can definitely help you with your transformation projects. But yeah, if you're asking about sort of an automated mapping solution, we don't have that yet. There has been some talk in the product development team of when users are in Hale Studio to offer them some kind of suggestions about what they should do. But in terms of like automatically doing the mapping for you, we can't do that, because that really takes deep knowledge of your source data and your target theme. So unfortunately, that actual transformation project and that mapping from the source to the target, you need to do that yourself, or we can also do it for you if you contact our support team.
Does this answer your question?
Yeah, that's what I feared.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, unfortunately, it's not that magical.
Yeah, I thought so. But is there some kind of a basic transformation project which maps the most important elements already, or something?
Well, yeah, there is some functionality. I'm not sure if I can share that, Chris, about the ADV, the German survey.
In principle, yes, but I think we only have 2 or 3 minutes left, and we have one more question. So I'm not sure
there is a solution. Yeah. There is a solution to this basic mapping situation that is used by some of our German customers. So if you contact us after the webinar, I think we can share that with you.
I'm fine with that. Thanks.
All right. Thanks a lot. And then there's a question from Pierre in Belgium. From statistics, I think he says, what happens when your source data schema is somewhat different? Now, Kate, can you answer that question, or do we need more information from Pierre?
When it's somewhat different, meaning like it's like a statistics table or something like CSV, or?
Pierre, can you elaborate on your question? I guess you are fighting with your microphone. So I can't hear anything.
No, if my source data is a different field name, in hale Studio. hale Studio asked me to find he asked me to find the correspondence between the new and the old field names.
Yes, I mean, yes, they have to be matching. Yes, so really, what you should do is create your source schema based on your source data. They have to be matching. If that's the question, yeah, they should be matching.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have another question. I don't know if I can. What is the difference between Atom Feed and Web Feature Service (WFS)?
Okay. A WFS is basically it's an OGC standard that serves your GML feature data. So using a WFS, your end users can make a series of different requests like get feature request, describe feature. They can make a get feature by ID request. They can query our servers for either the entire GML dataset or a part of it. Atom feed is just simply basically provides you the file in a zip file. So the Atom feed basically serves the GML file in a zip or the shape file of the GML in a zip. So we can transform the inspired GML back to a shape file. That's not always pretty, but then it's put into a zip file, and then you can just download it as a zip file from the Atom feed. So the Atom feed is not, you cannot query it. The Atom feed is predefined. That's why it's called predefined. Okay. You can't ask anything of it, and the WFS you can query it to download what you want. Yeah.
Thank you.
I guess we should close the session because we are at the end of the webinar. And just pointing out that there's one more webinar next week that's in German and it's an introduction on Hale Studio to transform data to Inspire. So to those of you who speak German, please register if interested at info@wetransform.to. And most importantly, we are planning for the next quarter and also for next year webinars. And we thought of focusing on more theme-specific aspects, not so much the infrastructure and the platforms and the tools, but more what is really the requirements that Inspire has for, let's say, geological data or whatever, and how it's being done, dealt with in the transformation and then other aspects. So we focus more on it from a vertical aspect, not a horizontal aspect. And also, of course, X-Planung, the German standard, is also always on the top of our topic list. So I would like to invite you to tell us your topics of interest. What are your preferences until mid of October? And so we can reflect that in our planning for the next webinars. That would be great. And I guess that was the closing words. I would just like to say thanks to everybody for your time, effort, and interest into our today's webinar. And yeah, thanks very much. And I hope to see you and hear you pretty soon. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.